So sometimes you have a podcast planned out way in advance, and 4 or 5 people tell you even up to the last minute that they can't make it. And then 2 or 3 more people say, hey, I wish I could be there. Well, one guy stepped up, filled the role. His name's Jeriah Tucker. You're going to get to know him in this episode. Welcome to Burnham Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Burnham. This is Jeriah Tucker. Jeriah, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm great. I'm just happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy that you're here. The listeners don't know that. Let's see, it's 6:30 now, and 2 hours ago I didn't have a guest for this episode. I had 2 or 3 people that were like, "Yeah, I'll come do it," and then the last guy at 4:30 today, it's 6:30 now. He said, "Hey, I ain't gonna be able to make it." So I threw it out there on Facebook, and Jeriah to the rescue. Which is why he's got his John Danaher outfit on.
Yeah, I'm actually dressed to go to jiu-jitsu class, and I had to admit to Danny that on the way here I was kind of making excuses to not go already because my full-time training partner there is currently out of the state. So I was like, I don't know. I was on the way, and I stopped at a red light and opened Facebook. You know, while I was driving, sorry. And
red light.
I see the post, and I'm like, man, at the very least, I mean, I just get a chance to hang out with Danny. So I've never been on a podcast. I have nothing to offer, nothing interesting, but.
Well, all right. That's the end of this episode.
Yeah, yeah, we're done.
No, but it's cool. I think that our buddy Patrick, I don't know if Patrick wants us to say his last name because of his line of work, but I think he's gassed you up a little bit and making you maybe believe that I'm somebody that I'm not and that this is something that it's not.
None of that came from Patrick.
Oh, man. Well, bless your heart. That's awesome. But happy you're here, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
So my name's Jeriah Tucker. I'm from Cedartown. I graduated from Cedartown High School in 2011. I'm a believer. I got saved when I was 7 years old. I currently attend Youngs Grove Baptist Church. I've been going there since 2017, 16. And I'm a police officer.
All right.
But that's not my identity.
Right.
I'm not that 24/7. I'm not that cop.
Yeah. This is not something this is a first-time podcast thing.
First time.
You're not supposed to leave out that you're a believer in Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why you're
sorry
here,
about that.
Jeriah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All good, man. All good.
I've been a believer since I was 7. Got saved at 7. Born and raised in church. Never have been out of church. That's.
Now you told me your dad was a pastor.
Yeah, he was a preacher my whole life. Pastor later in my life. He's not pastor now, but yeah.
I'm glad you made that distinction between preacher and pastor.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
I understand the difference. And he was a preacher. He was a Sunday school teacher my whole younger life, and then we ended up changing churches, and he ended up pastoring somewhere else. But yeah.
So is he a pastor there in Cedartown?
He was. Yeah, now
right.
he's just a normal member. Get back to teaching now.
Oh,
but
bless his heart, man.
Yeah.
It is not, and I don't know. I've never been a pastor's kid before, but being a pastor is not for the faint of heart, for sure.
No, it's a lot, man. Hats off to y'all. People, I guess they want to rag on pastors. That's not a full-time job. It is. It
really
is.
Yeah.
I've seen it firsthand, man. Y'all, it's a lot, man.
Well, I tell people, not only is it full-time, it never stops.
Yeah, it never does.
So, but I thought we got this tiny little church here. This is our sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we have church. You guys, it's 700 square feet. It's tiny. But this is our whole church, right? And you can imagine how many people come to church in here on Sunday.
Yeah.
But there's still people, and people do people stuff and need people help. And
well, it's not just reduced to your members. Anyone that knows you're a pastor or preacher.
Turn his mic up right now.
Sorry.
You need
to hear that.
People
Yeah.
just need to hear this.
Yeah. So it's not just reduced to his members that come and pay tithes and come every week. It's people that even know that he's a preacher, pastor, that are going to be reaching out, needing things and asking for things, and he's going to do what he can. So it's not really necessarily reduced to how big's your church. Oh, that's how big your caseload is. No. It's more than that.
Man, I'm super glad I had you on now. That's awesome.
you can just clip that and post it, and then
that can be our first short.
Yeah.
We'll put it on YouTube and Rumble.
Yeah.
So you're from Cedartown. and you moved to Rockmart. And I'm struggling with that because I've grown up in this area also, and I know what Cedartown versus Rockmart has always been like. And so for you to kind of switch sides now, can you go home?
Can I go
Like,
home?
do they let you go back to Cedartown?
Oh, so yeah, so I can just that was reduced to I bought a house in 2020, so the housing market was what it was
Right.
is, and pretty much I had to take what I could get.
I got
Which
you.
my house is like on the border of Cedartown, Rockmart, so I'm not like in the middle of. I'm not. Yeah. So I mean, we'll put it this way: I still shop at the Cedartown Walmart, so that's where my homage lies.
I guess there's one in Rockmart though. Isn't
There is, yeah.
Pause it. So how does your faith overlap with your job?
I'll say this: I don't know many cops that don't believe in God because the stuff that we see, it would be hard to not believe in God and be a cop. Just
like
from my experience,
no atheist in a foxhole, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not as extreme, but I haven't really thought about that question before. But it's every day, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the need to pray every time I'm at work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the stuff we deal with and the situations you find yourself in, and I just put it this way: I don't think I could make it without my relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
I just the emotional stress and the physical stuff. Man, it's just without a feeling of closeness to God during those situations, I just don't know if I could do it.
Well,
I mean,
you guys see
the worst in people.
People on their worst, at their
man.
worst day. Whenever
Yeah.
you see them, that's the worst point, in their life.
But another thing is the people that you deal with, they have a way of knowing too.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because I'm not saying all cops are, churchgoers or whatever, but
right.
The people that we deal with that have been to church or whatever, like they have a way of knowing too. Like I've had a lot of people ask me like, where do you go to church at? And I'm like, I didn't even mention it, and so it overlaps a lot, man. Took this podcast on 10-minute notice. I didn't have time to think about this question, and I didn't get a list before. But
it's all good.
Yeah, I'll just say that I couldn't do it, man. And it's no secret that cops have issues with their home life and all the stuff that they do. That's not it's nothing to be proud of.
Right.
If I didn't have a relationship with God and I wasn't saved, man, I can't say that I would be any different than that. I mean, I can't say that I wouldn't come home and start slamming beers and break stuff in the house and all that. I mean,
right.
That's the thing. I always I read my Bible before I go in to work every day.
Yeah.
So it's like I've prefaced myself. I don't read as soon as I wake up. Yeah. I read before I go into work. And when I started doing that, it made a big difference in my my attitude. Yeah.
So I mean, you can get up. Everybody takes whatever they're already dealing with into their job, and it sets the tone for your day. Whatever happens before you leave the house that morning, you don't have that luxury. Like you can't just you can't be mad when you show up at that job or something
if you do,
bad happens.
Yeah, if you do, it's just gonna make everything worse.
Yeah. So you kind of give yourself a foundation before you ever even leave the house.
Yeah.
No, that's good
stuff.
stuff.
I do that on purpose. I used to read when I first woke up. I used to read before I went to bed, and then I eventually changed it to where if I work that day, I read like within the hour before I go in.
Right.
So it's like I'm kind of meditating on that, and it helped me a lot. The stuff's fresh on my mind, and I try to meditate on it. I like to read Psalms and Proverbs before I go in, just kind of meditate on stuff like that. And it's really helped me.
So what kind of shift do you work?
I work nights, full-blown graveyard, 6A to 6P.
Do you work like rotating days or?
Yeah, so we work every other weekend. That whole it's called the California 12s.
Okay.
But yeah, we work that. I've been doing that for 6 years.
So there are a lot of nights then that you'll leave jiu-jitsu and go to work. Is that how that works? Or are you?
No, I only train jiu-jitsu on my off days.
Okay.
So, like today I'm off, but I worked last night.
So you're like 7 to 7?
6 to 6.
6 to 6,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess you get to go to church then? Just
Yeah,
about
yeah.
whenever
Every
you
other
want to.
weekend I get to go to church.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
On
that's
my
cool,
off
man.
weekend I get to go. But my work weekend, I get off at 6 a.m. and I go to sleep immediately, and I couldn't wake up 3 hours later and go back.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'd be asleep in church. I mean,
Right.
I don't
Well,
want
it's
to be that guy.
unnatural for us to be up all night anyway.
Yeah.
That's why God separated the day and the night. So we can
Yeah.
sleep now because the lights are out or whatever. And then,
Yeah.
to do that and then to only give yourself 3 hours of sleep. So if your pastor's listening,
I'm not even
understand. Maybe we'll have him on sometime.
Hey, he'd love this.
Yeah,
he
that'd
would
be
love
cool.
this.
But so it ain't natural to sleep, and without trying to pry up too much trauma, you guys see things that aren't natural to see.
Oh, man.
So all that combination, man, I'm with you. I don't see how anybody could do that job and not have that foundation.
I think I don't want to throw stones, but the evidence of that is in the alcohol abuse and the lashing out with the family and stuff. That to me is an indicator that they don't have a relationship with God, because they're using that as their fix. You know,
Right.
get home, I gotta slam the alcohol to go to bed because I can't,
punch holes in the wall.
Yeah,
or
as
whatever.
opposed to a person that, is walking in the Spirit and they have that, that constant, reminder from God, and they're able to pray and meditate and read. I mean, that's the way I think about it. But I don't want to cast on. I'm not saying that.
No, I mean,
I'm just saying that's just my opinion.
I mean, that element is there. It's prevalent in police officers, first responders, paramedics, firemen. Deal with a lot of,
McDonald's manager.
Right. But I mean, for you guys to deal with trauma and bad people and even good people in their worst moments, that is, again, it's not natural, but without that foundation, so it's amplified for you guys. Like, it's one thing this is Luke Martin's office right next door here.
Oh, this is
these are lawyers over here. So like, they have a bad day.
Yeah.
It's a bad day, but you guys are, I mean, God bless Luke and them. Their job's tough
great.
too.
Love Luke.
But to be around all that stuff and to take it back home with you, because you take that uniform off, but it's a lot like being a pastor. It never really stops.
It bleeds into your skin, man.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I take the shirt off and get in bed, and I'm still thinking about what I seen,
Right.
what I saw an hour
Right.
ago. It's different, man.
It is, but that's also a good reason to have an outlet like jiu-jitsu, I guess. Which one of us mentioned jiu-jitsu first? Did I or did you? You came in here with a rash guard.
Yeah,
man.
I did. I had. Yeah,
I can't take the
I guess
blame.
The video showing it. Yeah, I'm being recorded. I'm wearing my full no-gi
Right.
get up right now.
Advertising for
I took
scramble jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Yeah, I took this podcast on a 10-minute notice on my way to class. And
I want Jason and PJ to know. I'll show you the screenshots on my phone. This was not my idea. I just needed a guest, and Jeriah popped up.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell him no.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it as, at the very least, I'm getting a moment to hang out with Danny.
Man, I'll take it. I'll take it. But
that's where I'm at with this.
But this is a good outlet for you.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. There's something to be said for exercise. I sit over here and I'm, you guys can see me on camera. I train sometimes, I promise. Maybe twice a month.
Yeah, he does.
But it's a great outlet. It's you blow your stress out, and I wish there was another person from Scramble sitting here today, and we were talking about some things, and they were talking about how they wish that their church was more like their jiu-jitsu family.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of hit me, and I've done podcast episodes about that before, but to hear somebody else say it, I think we've got a group, a Facebook group, and I think we could get on Facebook right now and go, hey, there's 15 guys down here trying to fight us, and our buddies would be here in a few minutes,
We're saying there's 15 people out here that need help.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that, so it goes that way too.
It's a family deal.
Yeah.
But, like I've said in, I think 2 episodes, the church could learn a little bit from that.
For sure, man. For sure. I mean, I know you sit and think about this a lot, but the church is, I mean, we're guilty of it, man. I mean, we shun people out, and not perfect.
Yeah.
We never will be.
Right.
You're not going
right.
to find a perfect church,
Yeah.
but could there be a lot of improvements? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, every day.
So you grew up in a preacher's house.
Baptist
Was
church.
a pastor for a while, and you ever thought about going into ministry? Is being a cop the only thing you ever wanted to do?
Pretty much, man. This is my first time ever like speaking to people really like this. I mean, I've taught a Sunday school class.
Yeah.
Like within the last year, I taught my adult class, but that was because like the teacher had to go. So
Yeah. So you're all about filling in on short notice.
yeah,
then,
man.
right?
I mean, I'm all for some patch jobs, man. Like
Yeah.
I'll rig something up. But yeah, so and I can only go to church every other Sunday, so. The agreement was I'll teach the Sunday I can go, and
Right.
then another guy will teach the other Sunday. So I was
Was he a
only
cop
teaching
too on the opposite shift,
50%.
or-
Do what?
Was he a cop on
No,
the
he
opposite
just
shift?
that guy could be there every week, but
Yeah.
he wasn't like fully committed. So we were like, hey man, you teach this week, and I'll teach the week I'm there. So, but with the no, to answer your question, I don't feel called to be a preacher. I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to say what I think my spiritual gift is, but I don't think it's preaching.
Yeah.
I just don't. My sister is a teacher. She's a school teacher. She teaches a Sunday school class at my church too. And I think my dad's gift is, preaching and,
Right.
and teaching. I just don't think it's mine, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's not for everybody, for sure.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you this: I didn't think that I was called to be a preacher until I was.
Yeah, until you were.
So-
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say this point. If I ever tried to make myself out to be one just because he is, I would feel guilty.
Oh yeah,
Like I
no,
would
that's
know.
the worst reason.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man.
Well, it's one thing to be a doctor or a police officer or whatever because my dad did it and his dad did it, but that is 100% not the reason to get into ministry.
Couldn't do it, man. I'd feel like a fraud.
Well, you would be.
I would be. Yeah, I would.
If that was the cause. If you also were called, that's a different thing. But you got a pretty hefty calling on your life as it is. So like you've got your load to carry, and you know, but it's an honorable thing. We need more. That's kind of the idea when I have guests on the show is to talk about how their faith overlaps with who they are outside of church, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm
And
not trying to point finger. I wish I had given that question like sooner so I could really think about that.
no,
I feel
that's
like I
all
gave
good.
a
I'll have you back on again
super shout.
sometime, and we
Yeah,
can go like.
Yeah, I'll put some thought in.
We'll take
that.
notes from this episode and go
Yeah.
back and rehash some things. But
That's
you-
a good question, man. That's a
you're doing
question.
good
That's
on-
the first time I've ever been asked that question.
I mean, it just I don't know. I don't know that we think about it.
I don't, man.
I don't think it because I think about my day job is also faith related. So like they go hand in hand. But I remember looking back now at my 13 years when I worked in public school, like I never thought, how does my faith overlap with my like it was there, but it wasn't like
Yeah, if it's deeply ingrained in you, it's almost second nature. You're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of how you could explain it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. See, you recovered, you pulled it out. It was a so it's. I mean, like you said, it's there. If it's a real thing for you, it guides you all the time, and you never have to stop and think, well,
Yeah,
what
it's-
would Jesus do right now? You just know, you know,
Yeah.
especially if your faith is real.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool that you have that. You are married.
Mm-hmm.
You guys don't have any kids.
We do not.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't have my ring on because I was on my way to class. I don't wear it. So,
You
but
gotta
yes,
get one of these rubber ones. You
I
just wear it
do,
all
but
the time.
I don't even wear it to class. Like
Jiu-jitsu is why I quit wearing a watch because
Well,
I would take it off and forget to put it back on.
yeah, that's my thing. I
Yeah.
lose the little ring, so I don't wear it. But
Yeah.
I take this off, and but I don't. Yeah, I usually don't wear it on my way to class.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's new. I wore my other one so long that it snapped in the middle of class a few weeks ago.
I take it off during class if I ever did
Yeah.
wear it.
I got you.
But yeah, we're married. We got married in 2020, and bought a house in Rockmart, and we're doing great. She's a therapist. My wife is, so it goes well with
I
what
was
I
gonna
do.
say you get
Yeah.
free treatment at home,
Yeah.
right? It's a
Well, she she don't even know I'm here. I don't know if I need to tell her.
surprise.
Okay, she's a therapist and she specializes in trauma, so
Oh,
I can
okay.
say that I'm sure. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, so she fully understands. She works with first responders, like that's her specialty.
Oh wow.
So, but I mean, not like every day. I'm not on the grill.
Yeah,
like, you know. But yeah, so like if I can speak to her comfortably about things and know that she understands and can offer solutions, and it's helped a lot.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that's how I know we're kind of meant for each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you think about, and I've said this, before to my wife, and I didn't get married till I was 33. So like, I had to figure out a bunch of stuff first. So by the time I got married, I was like old and wise, right? And I understood at that point that when God created my wife, He was thinking about me.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man, and it's not any more evident than it is when you finally are together and things like that. There's no coincidence, right? I just happened to marry a therapist.
Yeah.
But it's God's plan, man.
Yeah, it is.
And His is better than ours. Because you think about all the girls, the girl in middle school that you prayed for, God, let me marry that girl. And then you look back now and you're like, well, that didn't work out. I'll say it. You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean,
my wife's a nurse, so I get it all the time. She's like, my head hurts. And she's like, well, it might be a blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
what does she do as a nurse?
She works in a nursing home.
Oh, she does?
Yeah. So she, just a couple of days a week now, she's kind of scaled back and was gotten into homeschooling the kids and all that. And
I was homeschooled 1 year.
Were you really?
Kindergarten, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher too. My dad and mom.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was he was a teacher at a Christian school and then like a principal at one point. She taught there too. So when I was in kindergarten, she homeschooled me.
Cool, man.
So I didn't get like full weird going homeschool like the whole 12,
You haven't seen my last episode, have you?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
We talked a whole bunch about it. It just came out today. It's okay.
No, homeschool kids are not weird. They're actually turn out to be better citizens usually.
Man. Yeah. It's good stuff though. Yeah. And I mean, it's, it's hard. So I try not to beat people up about not homeschooling their kids.
Oh, dude. I don't have kids, so I can't. But if I did, man, I would want them to be homeschooled in today's world. I mean, I feel very strongly about that.
I'd been there, I don't know, I'd worked in public school, did it for 13 years. And about 11 and a half, 12 years in, I was talking to our SRO one time, and I was like, 10 years ago, my job didn't look so much like your job. Golly. And so I was like, all right, get out of here and get my kids out of here. Yeah,
my sister's a school teacher. And dude, the stuff she tells me, I'm just like, school's not even what I remembered it being. I mean, children's experience in school is like not even the same.
Yeah.
And I guess time is just, I'm 30, I don't think I'm old yet, but I'm like,
you're not,
I mean,
it's so different though.
I just couldn't imagine like the school system and just being so different than even when I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't use textbooks.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time. Well, we issued my last year or two there. We issued every kid in the school a laptop.
So we didn't have.
Then 60% of them go, I'll just do it on my phone. So they got this laptop that they carry around with them and never use. And
so about the time I was graduating, people were starting to get cell phones, and there was actually like a rule came out. It's like, if we catch you with a phone, we'll take it for like 30 days. Like, take the phone. Like, do not get it back.
Right.
So, how can you do that? Like, the parents are paying for it.
They couldn't. We didn't do that but a couple of years, and then.
So, but go from that to now thinking like they're allowed it.
Yeah.
They even do their schoolwork on like a tablet, phone, whatever. Yeah. I'm just like, it's different.
It is, man. And I saw over that period of time, the first several years was just gradual changes. And I thought, well, this is different than it was. And one year we let them. We were just like, heck with it. You can have your phone in school, whatever. Just don't, use it responsibly. And then the last few years, it was like exponential change. And that's not even a knock. Here in Rome, Georgia, we have it pretty good. Mm-hmm. Great people teaching our schools and all that stuff. But, man, it's the world is so different. Yeah. And the kids don't have guidance like they used to. So they end up in the backseat of your car a lot of times. And,
man, they do sometimes.
Yeah. You ever done any SRO work?
No, I haven't. No, that's something I'm not interested in, man.
Yeah.
I'm just not that guy. I don't know. I don't have kids. I don't think I could do it justice. There's a lot of officers that are great at that, and I know I'm not that guy for that.
Well, that's fine.
I'll leave it to them.
You know what you're good at.
Yeah, where I work, we have our own like school district police department.
Oh,
so they're completely. every school is covered by them. So that's
gotcha.
not us. So I would have to change departments to go work for them.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that either.
No, I don't want to do that. They make more than we do, but
Do they
they
really?
earn it. They're dealing with kids. I mean,
Man. It's a constant thing. No, I remember at one point my daughter came home and she was talking about somebody's parents. The police had kicked their door in and taken mom to jail over, in the middle of the night and whatever, and she had to go stay with grandma and all this stuff. But that's what our kids are doing now.
it's the worst, man. There's nothing worse than getting a crazy call and you get there, and then there's little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so sad.
But that's, man,
It's every day though, man. I mean, I wish the public knew.
When you're in a small town, it's not like you're in
40,
Atlanta.
41,000 people out there, 40-something thousand.
Yeah. So it's not like you're doing this in a major city where.
Yeah, and it's everywhere, man. I
Yeah.
mean, people I know. It's sad.
Well, that's the
man.
hard part, right? Is you go in there and it's somebody that you know.
Yeah.
That's tough. But that's where that foundation and faith comes in.
Yeah, I mean, and the question I'm sure you get all the time is, why do bad things happen in this world, man? And I just have to constantly remind myself that, it says in the scriptures, Satan is the prince of this world.
Yeah.
I mean, it was given over to him at the fall.
Yeah.
And I just have to remind myself of that. I'm just like, this stuff is happening because it's our fault. We sinned.
Right.
I mean, it's my fault. I'm a sinner. I'm human. I'm the same as Adam was, and when that happened.
Right.
And that's why this stuff happens. And that's why heaven will be what it is, because it's not going to have that.
Right.
So I have to remind myself that, because I mean, the stuff is just, it's unfathomable.
Well, they're
sometimes.
not, people aren't living to the same standard that we are. They're not following the same rules that we are. And their God is themselves.
Yeah. There's no conscience.
Right.
There's nothing that speaks to them when they're doing stuff that says, this is wrong. Or there's nothing. There's not a voice there, Not schizophrenia, but there's nothing.
Yeah, no,
There's
but
no
for sure,
conscience.
it's there's nothing telling them. There's no line between right and wrong.
Yeah.
But that's why we need good people doing stuff like you do, and being teachers and doctors and lawyers for that matter. But
yeah. I worked with a guy. He's one of the people that made me want to be a cop when I was little, because he went to the church I did, and he sings in a Christian group now, and man, he's had such an influence on me. I mean, he's been doing it way longer than I have. You know, he's been in some crazy stuff. But when I was getting, first starting out, I talked with him about this a lot, and he told me, how he kind of copes with the stuff, and which I don't even know why I just brought him up. But I guess 'cause he's a Christian and he sings in a Christian group. But there are a lot of cops out there that are Christians and do the right thing and stuff, contrary to what the news tells you.
There you go.
But
I've been getting a bunch of those video. You get on Facebook and you watch a video, and then the next one pops up, and the next one pops up, and it's all those the First Amendment auditors, the guys that are like taking pictures of the jail, and then they come out.
Dude, I love watching. They're so funny.
I know. I get stuck on them, and I watch like 9 of them in a row before I realize it.
I send them to my friends because I think it's funny.
Yeah,
I just want to see the cop get just so frustrated.
I know. They get so mad. And they're like,
I mean, dude, who falls for it still? Like,
well, that's my thing, right?
Who hasn't seen the videos?
I know. There's a million of these videos. I'm a First Amendment auditor.
They've came around here.
Have they?
Yeah.
You run into one?
Not an auditor. Like, I've had the sovereign citizens, but not the auditors. I haven't had like the come and take pictures. I'd open take a picture wherever you want, man.
Yeah,
like, do whatever. Like, it ain't mine. Like, just but.
So, I'll put you on the spot again. Do you want to explain why the sovereign citizen is not a thing? Like, how does that work?
Why it's not a thing?
Yeah, I mean, is it a thing?
Oh, no, it's not a thing.
I didn't think so.
I asked our judge one time, because we had a sovereign citizen take a case from municipal court to superior court. He went in there and he tried to explain to the superior court judge that he was not driving his car, he was operating it. And the judge apparently doesn't have good internet where he lives, and he was just like, "What are you talking about?" And then the judge was just like, "No," and he just like dismissed it. And then I talked to another judge that was there, and I asked him, I said, "Where do they get this from?" And this was like 2017 when he told me this, so I'm not like in tune with it. but he said there's something like a Black's Book of Law or something like that, and that's where they're getting their stuff from.
But it's not actual law.
No, it's like fake. It's like pure baloney, and that's supposedly they're getting it from that, and it tells you like, hey, you're not.
I'm a traveler, or
like
whatever.
They always say they're kin to Benjamin Franklin. Like I had a guy tell me his name was Benjamin Franklin, and he has like shares in the National Treasury or the reserves or something. I mean,
bless his heart.
Yeah, but to my understanding, that's where they're getting it from. I haven't seen the book.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up now. I wonder if it's on Amazon. Maybe
I'm
this
sure it
bookstore
is.
down the street.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
I gotta check it out. I've heard that before, and I've had other friends who were officers.
Luke
that say
probably
that.
knows.
I'm sure he does.
I'm positive he knows.
I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm a traveler. I'm a whatever they say. But just in case you're watching, listening, and you ever thought about trying that, don't. First of all, we got to respect authority, and because God put them there, Romans 13, but
you're going to get your window busted out. I'm just
cool,
telling you,
man.
there's something called the U.S. Supreme Court, Pennsylvania v. Mims. Google it.
There you go.
It gives officers the right to remove a driver or occupant out under any circumstance for any reason.
So we're not going to see you on one of those videos because you won't make a good one, right? You'll just quote the law back to them and they'll go away.
No, that's the thing. They won't accept it.
Yeah.
My guy did. I've had two people. One guy eventually just gave in, which I already knew him. He was just crazy. I literally knew his name. He's telling me his name's Benjamin Franklin. Like, I know him.
And bro went to school together.
Yeah, and then I had another guy, and he ended up seeing the light, because at the time we had a canine officer on the shift, and he shows up, and he was like, bro, we're about to bust your window out, and then if things don't go a certain way, this dog's going to come in.
Yeah.
He's probably going to bite you. just do it, man. And then he did. So we didn't take it that far.
Man, bless his heart.
But yeah, that if you full out refuse, that's what's going to happen. They're going to bust your window out, pull you out. You're going to jail. If you're in Georgia, you're going to be arrested for obstruction, plus whatever reason they stopped you. That's what's going to happen.
All right, so don't do that. You guys heard it here first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
On what ideas you get from the First Amendment auditor videos, but. Just remember that God's law is supreme and we are not. So just be nice to the officer, and he would rather not take you to jail. He's got better things to do.
It's not worth it.
Oh, man. Hayden, where we at on time, bud?
35 minutes.
35 minutes.
Somewhere in there.
Anything else you want to talk about?
We hadn't talked about jiu-jitsu.
We haven't. Just here and there.
I'm in the full get-up. I'm wearing
know
the
you
suit, and I've talked about it.
He suited the role with you.
I know. We got to talk about it a little bit.
I got to roll with you for the first time, 2 weeks ago?
Has it been 2 weeks?
I don't know. It was...
Maybe 2 or 3. Not super long.
It was spring.
Yeah.
Springtime.
But when did you start training?
I started training a year and a half ago at Gabriel's.
Okay.
I trained there for about 6... Well, it was January of 21. Would that be a year and a half till now?
Yeah, because I started training in October of 20.
Yeah, so I trained at Gabriel's for about 6 months, then I came to Scramble, and then I've been there right at a year.
Okay.
So that'd be right.
See, I don't ever do no-gi. I've done more no-gi lately because I had to go to Matthew's class when he got his belt a couple weeks ago. I did a thing with Jason up in Dalton.
I was there.
No, this was like a Tuesday night or something.
Oh,
we went
you're
up
not
there.
talking about the seminar.
No.
Okay.
No, this is just a regular class he went up there and taught. But I got hurt in August of last year. I have a rotator cuff, and so I was out for a couple of months. And by the time my rotator cuff was good to go again, I had messed up my back. So then I didn't train from like August until middle of January probably, and then scheduling and whatnot. I've been in there twice a month since then, I think. But
yeah, back injuries are no fun, man.
But I got it worked out now. If I can just get my schedule straight, I can get in there.
I enjoyed no-gi better.
Yeah, I thought I would.
You thought you would?
Because it's not so dang hot.
Yeah, dude,
you put that gi on, and it's a million pounds.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. So I noticed some people in Scramble wearing a gi. It was so thin it was almost see-through. So I asked PJ, I said, what's up with that gi? And he said, oh, that's like the
competition weight gi? Is that the?
No, he said it was called like the Fuji starter edition. And I was like, what does that mean? It wasn't on the website. And he was like, no, you got to have like the commercial account to get it. So I was like, well, get me that, dude. It's like as thick as that shirt you're wearing. It's like a long sleeve shirt.
Up.
Yes. Tell him you want it. I should have brought it, man. It's the thinnest.
Oh, so you already got one?
Yeah, he ordered it and it was cheap. It was like $50 for the full thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's Fuji.
I've got a lightweight gi, man, but it
ain't this lightweight.
No,
if you
you're
get
still
any lighter,
wearing a blanket.
If you get any lighter than this, you're gonna be like Chris Farley on Tommy Boy. Like it's gonna go. Like it's
Kinda
gonna.
am anyway,
No,
but
I'm just saying. No, not from your physical stature. It's gonna be from the weakness in the material. Like if it's any thinner, it's gonna give.
Oh man.
But
no, I need to do that.
Ask him, man.
I sure will. I'm due for a new gi anyway, so
It's
I'll
$50,
hit that up.
man.
You can't beat that.
No, it's cheap.
But
It's
yeah,
dirt cheap.
I like gi though because against a young athletic person like yourself, I can grab hold and slow things down a little bit.
It levels the playing field.
Yeah,
for
to
sure.
some degree. I mean, there's still a lot of skill involved, and
I would argue it requires more skill to be good at gi because, at almost any point I could be choked out by my own collar, so I have to be like,
right.
I have to be aware of that, and then same applies to you,
Right.
and then
I gotta watch mine and yours.
Yeah, and then there's handles everywhere that don't exist when you're doing no gi, so I would say you have to be more cerebral.
Yeah,
in the gi.
I think so.
That's probably why you like the gi because you're so smart.
Man, this guy gotta have him one more often, man. This is, I love it. I love it.
You're not dumb.
No, I mean I like to think I'm not dumb. I don't know how smart I am. I'm breaking even. I feel like most of the time, but
maybe we'll do like a live IQ test with you and some of your guests in the future episodes.
A live IQ test. Is that something you can make happen with the? You got access to a lie detector? I don't guess that does us any good, does it? But I've always wanted to do that.
A lie detector on the podcast? No. No, I don't have access to one.
I got you.
No.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, that's I guess where we met was at jiu-jitsu, and we talked about what that family is like, and man, it's just great. It's a good thing. Yeah. One of my favorite pastors ever, Vodi Bakum, is last I saw he was a purple belt. Then he got sick. He was having some heart issues. So I don't know if he's still training.
Where at?
He's in Africa.
Oh.
But before he went over there, I think he was in Texas at the time. He's been in a bunch of places. But big old giant dude. Played football, I think, at Baylor. Oh, and got into jiu-jitsu a little bit later. So then I saw Vodi doing it, and I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it.
I bet he's a handful.
I'm sure he is. He's gigantic. But you need to check him out, too, if you never heard him before.
Yeah, I definitely
I'll send you some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's one of my favorites. Between him and, Paul Washer, I don't think Paul Washer does jiu-jitsu, but he's like a primitive bow hunter. Mm-hmm. So, he's a tough guy. So we can be tough guys and be believers, too. And everybody thinks we're sissies when we come to Christ.
Read the Old Testament.
Right?
You think any of those saints were sissies?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I saw a meme earlier when I was waiting on you guys to get here tonight, and it was it said it was a picture of an angel, what we think an angel looks like. And it said most people when we see an angel, and the guy's afraid of the thing, and then it said Jacob when he sees an angel, and he's belly to back, suplexing this.
Man. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if that'd be me, but yeah, he wasn't a sissy. You look at even the New Testament, somebody like Peter.
Oh, dude, Paul.
Yeah.
That guy got snake bit and in
man,
prison,
beaten
to death.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no telling how malnourished he was at any point.
At any point, yeah.
I mean, I imagine he walked most everywhere. I mean, it's not like, he didn't have a car.
No.
Probably didn't even have a donkey to get around on. I mean, if he did, he probably would have had it stolen.
Yeah. But they were tough dudes, and it's not we don't have to be weak. Because, we're supposed to be meek, and that's a whole different thing.
Meek, but not weak.
Right. Yeah. Meek might even mean, probably means capable of violence, right? You can be that person. You just, we know how to contain it.
Right.
So we're super dangerous guys, both of us.
Does your wife train? Or has
she's trained a couple of times.
I thought I remember.
She was coming to the ladies' class on Saturday, but then she started working on Saturdays.
Okay.
So it didn't really work out.
Because my wife goes to the women's class. I think that's where she said that Jessica had come in there a time or two, but I didn't know if she still came or not.
She hadn't in a while.
Dude, my wife loves it.
Yeah, I can tell she gets
loves
into it.
man. I never. She grew up an athlete. Like she played all kinds of sports
Yeah.
and whatnot. She's smart and she's fast and all that, but she does not like smelly, stinky, sweaty.
Oh man.
And so for that reason, I never even mentioned it. Like,
Yeah.
I just went, did my thing, and then I don't even know how it got brought up, but I was like, you should try it, give it a go, whatever.
Yeah.
And she came and she liked it, and she already knew some people there, and now she loves everyone. Everyone likes her. I mean, it's great, and I don't think she could stop at this point.
It's tough to beat it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, it was a lady asked me the other day, said, do you think I could do jiu-jitsu? Because she's not like a touchy-feely person.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, well, not too long ago, my ear suctioned onto my coach's face and filled up with his sweat. So, like, if you're not into that kind of thing, then maybe not. But,
Dude,
it is what it is.
because he's next door, I'll say this. Luke is one of the sweatiest people in Scramble. He's like top. I mean, he's a top 5 sweaty guy. And the other day,
Never dribbled Luke before.
oh man, so we were doing, I don't know, it's something to where like I'm below him and he's standing above me, and
Yeah.
dude, there was like a fountain of sweat just running down. And at one point, it went directly into my eyeball.
Oh.
Yeah, dude, it was.
I just try to keep my mouth shut. If I get it in the eye, it is what it is. But
I mean, it looked like a faucet.
that's fun, right? That's why we go in there, so somebody else sweats in our
part of
face.
it. It's part of
It is.
But the jiu-jitsu, man, it's really helped my my work as well, because we have to go hands on with people all the time, and I wish all cops trained.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it should be mandatory.
A lot of folks do.
There are agencies that do make it mandatory.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you this: if all cops trained and like enough to like know what they're doing, they would get in a lot less use of force.
Well, if you can subdue somebody without an impact, right? If you're not punching somebody or hitting them with something or even tasing somebody, if you can grab hold of them and slow them down, and
Well, any of these like horrible looking police videos you see, a lot of times it's because the officer like panics.
Yeah.
He's not confident.
Yeah.
He's not, and he escalates things up way too fast, too much, and
Right.
that's why it turns out bad.
Yeah.
But like if I go to class 2 or 3 times a week and I'm rolling with dudes bigger, stronger, faster than me, and I'm used to having someone like on top of me or I'm on top of them, like I've learned to know like when I'm actually in danger and when I'm not,
Right.
and like when my control is slipping away or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like to someone who is all that's totally foreign to, like the moment they escape their comfort zone, that it's a panic. That's a gun comes out. It just it spirals out of control.
Right.
But to a person that's trained and trains all the time, they're
Nice and cool.
Yeah, heart rate's probably not even going to get up.
Right.
But
no, it's good stuff, man. But I mean, it's cops and it's firemen and it's soccer moms and
there are more firemen in there than cops. That's sad.
Are there more? I guess there are at this point, aren't there?
I only know of like 3 cops that come to Scramble.
We got to get how many EMTs we got? I guess some of those guys in there
EMTs,
balance out the first responder.
Do we have any EMTs?
I don't think we do. Not anybody that's just an EMT. I think we've got
some firemen that bounce between the two. Like it's kind of what they do. But we've got a new fireman there, Steve. He just.
Oh yeah. Newly minted fireman.
Mm-hmm. There's more firemen that go there than police for sure. Tripp's brother.
Yeah.
He's a fireman.
You guys got to pick it up.
We do, man. I've
balance it out.
I've tried, man. Cops are lazy. And
it's tough to get.
Man.
I got to do a survey and see if it's harder to get people to go to jiu-jitsu or to church.
Dude, that's a close one, man.
All right.
I don't know. I'll be honest to say I've had more success getting people in church.
You think so?
Yeah, because I mean, like at least they know what to expect.
Right.
Like most have been or something. Jiu-jitsu people are like, oh, I'm gonna get hurt. Or
right.
I got to get in shape first. Something like that.
There's no shape.
No,
like you just can't until you get in there and do that.
Yeah.
You can run, lift all the weights you want.
Yeah. I would say in my experience, I've had, which I don't go out and just inviting people to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
It's only someone I would think would, but yeah. What about you?
I've had less success, I think, getting people to go to church since I became a pastor, like period. But I still don't know how it compares to getting it, because I've talked to a bunch of people into at least trying it.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, I mean. So I don't know. And I don't know why it is. I used to get folks come to church all the time when I wasn't a pastor. And then,
Now
I mean,
that
we
you're-
have our share of guests and visitors here, but some folks from the gym have been.
Yeah, I don't think that's anything unique to you, Danny. I think that that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this a lot. There's not a perfect church. And
Yeah.
if you find it, you need to believe, because you just made it imperfect.
Yeah, don't go there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I run into a lot. Inviting people, and it's like they start scrolling through their memory, like wait, what about this one guy that used to go there? I heard he did this and that, and I'm like,
we get that even in a church our size.
I just want to let you know up front, like, that guy's a sinner, and I'm just as much of a sinner as he is. And guess what? The pastor is just as much of a sinner as that dude is. We're all like in the category of guilty.
We're all trapped in this imperfect flesh, and we do imperfect things.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an excuse. It shouldn't be. We
No.
should fight against that. But I mean, that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what people want to hang on to and go, well, that's why I don't go, because he's there.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it ain't because of him. It's still because of you.
Yeah. And when you stand before God in judgment, I don't think he's going to accept that as an excuse.
He is not going to care.
I heard old Bubba went down there to that church and he got a DUI that weekend before. I ain't going there. I don't think God's going to accept that.
No. It's you work out your own salvation, right? And then, I don't know. It's like I said, even in our church, the size of our church, we have people that say, well, I don't want to go because he's there or because she's there or whatever. And
I've been in a lot of small churches, man. One church my dad pastored, it was probably got the same attendance that y'all have. Didn't discount anything from the place. I mean, I grew as a Christian there. I mean, I loved it and enjoyed it. I mean, a small church doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with the place.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't.
Man, I'm glad I had you on. You're like saying all the right stuff. I didn't tell him to say any of this stuff.
I got more to offer than I thought, I guess.
I'm telling you, man, it's turned out all right. But yeah, it's our goal here is to grow in faith. And if we grow in number, that's great. That's a bonus.
Yeah.
But to grow in faith and be able to take what we have from here out there, that's the idea. Because that's what we're commanded to do in Scripture anyway.
Yeah.
So we take what we got, and if some new folks come in, that's great. And if not, we'll keep doing what we're doing and being faithful.
I'll tell you something our church started doing, which we've backed off a little within the last 6 or 8 months. But we got a new pastor, and he talks about that. Go to Judea, Samaria.
Yeah.
And was it Judea was listed first?
Judea, Samaria.
Yeah, Judea. So he was
the
like
ends of the earth.
Yeah. So he was like, our community is our version of Judea.
Yeah.
So we've got to reach this first. So we would pick like a night or two a week, and get in a car. Everybody pulls up in the cars, and everybody gets a list of addresses, and then you go and invite them, give them a little bag that's got a cup and the thing, And man, everybody had a good time. Met a lot of good people. Tons of people coming to the church. I mean, it has gone excellent.
Good deal.
It really has, man.
So just like an old school visitation type thing.
For sure. I mean, and I had been to a church when I was a kid and we did it, and it just didn't work well. Like it, I was too young to like know what was going on. I mean, I didn't really participate. I was real little, but I just know it didn't last long. It didn't have much success. But the way we've done it, man, it's been really good. We've had a lot of people coming because of that.
Good. Well, you have to, right? I mean, like for us, I don't know, when you walk into our place, it looks like you're in the wrong place. Like when you initially walk in the front door, till you actually find the sanctuary where we are in the building. But we got to let people know we're here, and it's true of us, and it's true of a church that's been there for 100 years. So if people don't know, if they don't know that the church is there, and then more so if they don't know that they're welcome there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think one time in my life have I ever been at a point where I was looking for a church and walked into a place where I didn't know anybody.
Exactly.
'Cause you just don't. You know,
Yeah.
you go where you know somebody and where you feel welcome and where you're invited.
Y'all's biggest limitation is probably the parking. The parking
Well,
situation.
it's not bad on Sunday morning because none of this stuff
That's
is
right.
open.
That's right. Yeah.
But if we wanted to do like a Wednesday night thing,
Oh, man.
I mean, we're here on a Wednesday night right now.
Can't do it. They're gonna have to. They're not gonna tie. They're gonna pay their parking
I
ticket.
know, yeah.
I mean,
It's the, but there's a bunch of stuff going on. There's something happening at the Forum tonight behind us, and then there's the county ESPYs is happening at the city auditorium up here tonight.
oh, okay.
So there's more traffic here than a normal Wednesday night, but there's still a lot.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
but yeah, it's being downtown is tough for that reason, but at the same time, it's a really cool place to have a church because this is Broad Street in Rome. Like this is like the place to be for anything, and to have a church here is just like I don't know. There's some sentimental value to me because I've grown up here in Rome, and Broad Street's always been the place to go to do anything.
Yeah.
But it's cool. We enjoy it. It's a good spot, and it's where we are until God puts us somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So but we were meeting in a hotel room for a while, and then in a bar. So this is better than those places. Yeah. The guy actually goes to our church and owns the bar.
Oh, okay.
So we got to a point where we needed a place to meet, and he was like, "Let's just meet in the bar." Like, okay, cool.
Good.
So we'd go in there and rearrange the furniture every week and put it back. And
In the first century, man, they met in houses.
yeah,
I mean, they didn't have like a church.
Yeah.
They were in houses.
you just had to do it where you
I
could.
mean, yeah. I mean, it's
And in secret a lot of times because you get in trouble.
I mean, that's what I need to remind myself. That was one of the things when I was attending the small church. I was reminding myself of that, like the size of the church is not. It's about the content of it.
Right.
What's going on in there? What are what's going on? And that was the thing. They met in literal houses back then. It wasn't like a big mega church and central location.
Well, that's what you can look out that window over there and see some churches here in Rome with the towers and the bells, and that's great. They're where they are. But
Yeah. Well, that's something that we've added to it. I mean, that's not biblical.
right, yeah.
It doesn't say in the Bible you got to have a big elaborate building.
Thank God. So we can pay the rent here, but we upgraded. We'd need some more people for sure, or at least some bigger checks anyway. But offering box right over here before you leave. By the way, just a heads up.
Hey, I tithe online at my church.
That's the way to do it now, right?
It's convenient.
Nobody has cash anymore.
I don't have cash. My
We got that little box, but it doesn't.
I don't have any cash, man.
Somebody hit me up for some cash on the sidewalk as I was walking in here today, but I was like, I'll give you $1, but I couldn't tell you the last time I saw $1.
I know, man. Yeah.
But give online, Cash App, Venmo, whatever it is. I don't know. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, we spend it the same way that we did. It's not like, I got upset one time, and I'll say that it was it at Woodstock, First Baptist Woodstock? You familiar with First Baptist Woodstock, gigantic church?
Yeah.
I think it was there. They passed an offering plate that had a card swiper on it.
Oh, man.
And I was like,
Fancy.
man, how lame is that? And then I was like, well,
But are people
that's
doing it?
that's the world that we live in,
Yeah.
so whatever. Yeah.
Cashless society.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to. They're eventually going to get it where they can just lock down your bank account if you
Oh,
don't like something you say or
man.
post.
Right. We're all going to be in trouble
we're
then
scared
if they
of.
get off of social media at that point. But,
Yeah.
but they just lock us down anyway.
Yeah.
You're already on the radar for being on this podcast. So there you go. We got censored. The first episode we put on video got censored on YouTube. So
Did it really?
yeah,
Wow.
because this one gets censored again. The Adam, my guest, mentioned they had moved into a church where some people were moving out of that had been a United Methodist church. And he said they left because they opposed homosexual marriage and all that stuff. And he's just telling this story on the podcast, sitting right where you're sitting. And then they didn't delete the episode, but I can't monetize it.
Oh.
So,
you
yeah.
can't monetize it.
Yeah, I know, right? So, whatever.
Shadow banning.
Yeah, that's what it amounts to. But it is what it is. We know that that's the kind of thing that's going to happen to us. And
That's what we're facing.
yeah, it's just the world that we live in.
Yeah.
But I think
One thing I want to ask you, what are your goals in jiu-jitsu?
my goal when I walk in on any given night is not to get hurt. because I'm twice as old as most of the people in there.
Long-term goals.
Long-term, just to be there, to like endure, because I don't, I'm a blue belt right now, and the biggest jump in jiu-jitsu is probably from blue to purple.
Oh yeah.
Like that's tough. If you get to purple, you're an expert. You ought to be able to teach a class and do all the stuff. So I don't know that I'll ever even get there. If there comes a time when I can train more regularly, maybe I can devote myself to it and get to that point. But just to go and be able to improve, and there's nothing that I love more than going and being in class and looking around and realizing I'm the oldest dude in there. Like that.
How old are you?
44. Be 45 in September.
If Pat's there, that's
I know, right? Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah. Now there are guys there that are older than me, but it's always a little bit of a thrill to me.
Oh yeah.
To know like, I'm the oldest dude in this room. Sometimes it's by 20 years. I'm 17 years older than PJ, one of our coaches. But just to do it, just to be there. I've realized in my time training there that I'm never going to be a world champion, like whatever. I may never be a Naga champion, So and that's fine. I'm at that gym to be the wise old dude and say pastor things and be there when, like I've gotten people that'll text me and be like, hey, I'm dealing with this or that, and I love it. They're more than welcome to do that. And so that's my role there.
Yeah.
So just to be around and be familiar with the guys and.
Well, that's good. You're being a witness.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, that was what I realized, and like I said, I'm never, I may never be a black belt. One of these, if I do it for the next 40 years, and then somebody wants to give me one, I'll never turn one down.
Mm-hmm.
But the goal there is just to be there for other people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You are, man. You're there. I enjoy your presence there. Anytime you're there, everyone's like, "Oh, Danny's here." I just want you to know. Everybody likes you there. So
I appreciate that, man.
I enjoy the older people there, man. I mean, because I would hate to think that like we ever develop the reputation to where like, man, you gotta be 22 years old and jacked and fast and smart and athletic to come. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
Well, I was afraid of that initially. Like I'd wanted to try jiu-jitsu and I couldn't. This was close to 20 years ago, and I couldn't afford it. I was dirt poor and starving to death, whatever. So we started a kickboxing club. I had a nice big basement. We got some mats. Tango, you were around for this. So we would do that, and eventually I got to a place where I could pay a little bit. So I was training in this boxing place that used to be a gas station, and you can imagine the kind of quality place, right, on Tennessee Street in Cartersville.
Still smell like smoke.
Yeah, right. Like people in there still smoking while we're, but it wasn't, I was in town with coffee jiu-jitsu and like really, high level training and tough guys, and like looking back though and knowing what I know now about some of those places where the people were training, I couldn't have done that because I'd have taken my ego in there with me, and I would have gotten hurt and been stupid and and
the ego, man.
It is, but I leave that thing at the door every night when I walk in there. And it's a detriment to me a lot of times in roles because I don't care if I win. Mm-hmm. Like win, as much as winning goes. But, like, I need to, like, bring some of that in there with me because I want to be successful. Yeah. I want to be good at it, but I don't care about being a champion or anything like that. Yeah. I don't know. What are yours?
Man, I would say my goals, I don't have like a strong interest in like being any particular rank.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about that. I guess my only like long-term goal is I just want to be like maybe get to the point where I could be a competitive role with anyone in the room. Yeah. Like not even that I want to beat them or
just
be
tough
able
out.
to. Yeah. Just like I don't want to be anyone's rest role.
Right.
Like maybe I could get to that point.
Yeah.
But
I
don't. I was told that like the people that are like just set on a certain color, and then once they get there, they tend to quit.
Well, that's your goal, right? If your goal is a blue belt and you
quit.
get it, then what's left? And you quit, and that's why, what is it, 90% of people that get their blue belt quit?
Yeah, something.
But that's not true of our gym.
Is it not?
It's not. Not in my experience since I've been there the last 2 years. I'm just thinking of all the people that have gotten their blue belt, and there are, I don't know, like Allison, Reyes, Sam, I guess, already had his. Jody got her blue belt. there's a bunch of people that have belted up since I've been there, and there are like 2 of them that don't train anymore. So
good.
like we're the opposite of whatever that rule is.
Yeah, that is good.
And I promise I stay gone periods long enough people think I've quit too, but like
No, you're busy.
But where you're at on rank, where you're like, well, I don't care about rank. That was the point I got to, and I got my 4th stripe on my white belt, and I was like, well, I can just be a white belt for like whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
That's about the time they gave me a blue belt. So keep that mindset. You'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Just don't make the blue belt your goal.
Yeah, I'm training to really to help my job. I mean, I just don't want to. I'm doing it for that reason primarily.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's what me and Ayla were talking on the way in tonight, and walking up the sidewalk out here, and we had gone past the ESPYs up here. They're giving awards to high school seniors around here who played sports or whatever. Like, those kids are done. Their sport's over. Like, the football players, like, was it 1 out of 100 kids or whatever get to go play college football? Like, so you probably won't. But when you graduate high school, like, they don't let you play football anymore. Like, you're just done.
yeah.
When you graduate, you can't play baseball anymore, or so many other sports, but jiu-jitsu is something. There's people 80 years old still doing jiu-jitsu. Like, oh, okay,
And
let's do that.
Yeah, and you can compete every weekend if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to drive somewhere,
You can find a tournament.
yeah, find your bracket.
Find a church too. So every weekend.
Yeah. There's one right here.
There
across
is,
the
right?
road.
We're sitting in one right now. You go to one.
Yeah.
What's the name of your church again?
Youngs Grove Baptist.
Who's the pastor there?
Brady West.
Brady West. We talked about this the other night.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
couldn't think of what his name was.
Yeah, we had a pastor who was one of my buddies from school. He was the same age as me. He pastored there about 7 or 8 years, and he left about 2 years ago. And then
He's the same age as you, and he
was
pastored for 8 years.
dude,
So that
he
started him off pretty young.
he started pastoring our church. Dude, I want to say we were probably 21,
Wow.
and he pastored in about 7 or 8 years. He's about 20.
Let no man despise your youth, right?
Yeah, but
Good stuff.
he graduated from Shorter. He went to seminary. I mean, yeah, Blake Dodd's his name. You can look him up. Look up the.
I feel like I should know who that is.
We've talked about him.
Okay.
Yeah, you can look up our church YouTube page and pull up his sermons when he was there. But yeah, he was the pastor, and then he left, went to a church in North Carolina, and we found our pastor. I think he was from Noonan or Carrollton, somewhere around there. He was a youth pastor, and our pulpit committee went down there and found him, and got him to preach, and the rest is history, man. We love him, man. He's been great. I mean, the attendance, we didn't have like the transition was seamless.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a mass exodus.
So was there no period between the two pastors?
There was. Yeah, it wasn't that long though. I mean, we had a really proactive pulpit committee. They found him. We had an interim pastor, like a long-term interim pastor, like 2 or 3 months, and he was great. And periodically we had a real candidate come in and preach.
Yeah.
And when Brady came, we decided to vote. I'm pretty sure it was like unanimous.
Yeah.
He's been great, man. He's awesome. He's a younger guy. He's probably 38, 39, something like that. He's got
Good deal.
4 boys. Loves sports, loves basketball. He's just a good guy, man.
Good,
we love
good.
him, man. He's
Gotta
great.
Get him on the podcast.
Hey, he would love it, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would.
Put me in touch with him. We'll get him on.
He's a full-time preacher. We pay him full-time.
Yeah.
So and he studies a lot.
Got to, man.
Yeah, he does.
Got
He's
to.
well-read, and we love him, man.
Good deal. So you guys, are you involved at church besides, I know it's tough with your schedule to be like a deacon or whatever, and you do anything like that?
I'm not a deacon. Like I said, about the most I was doing was helping teach the Sunday school class.
Yeah.
We do the visitation.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it, man. Little stuff around, they'll, it'd be the visitation. We've got some construction going around in the church, and they'll have like a volunteer come help, but that's about all we do.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like, and I've never seen any data on it, but I feel like if you're involved in church, you're more likely to stay there.
Oh yeah,
because it's
for sure.
especially here in Northwest Georgia, we can just leave the church and go to another one.
I do not sing in the choir. I don't sing in the choir.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't sing. I never have. Probably never will. My wife doesn't. She does not talk.
Not a singer.
She's not a singer.
Yeah.
She doesn't like. She's shy. You know. I'll sing where I'm standing.
Right.
I don't want to get in front of everybody else and
No,
sing.
I have to do it. I do it every Sunday, but it's,
Yeah.
not exactly leading the song. Hey, you've seen it before, but it's,
Yeah.
bless everybody's heart, me standing in front of the room.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
No,
think
our
being
choirs-
involved is, you guys, so you guys got a choir there.
Oh, dude, and they're good. That's what's so intense.
Are they on your YouTube channel too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some churches just put the sermon on there. Like, give me the whole thing.
Oh, well, actually, I'm not sure about that. I'd have to look. They should be. They're good.
I'm sure there's at
They're
least
good.
one
They
on
practice. I mean, that's what's so daunting about it. Like, dude, I'd get up there and ruin it.
there. I know, right?
I
These
mean,
people up there that know
you
what
gotta
they're
be-
doing.
They're to the point you got to be good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
almost.
Got to make the cut.
Yeah.
But
But they
That's-
practice. They know what they're doing, man.
it's important stuff. You
Yeah.
got to get that right.
Mhm.
A lot of
Yeah.
churches don't with
Yeah.
worship. You just get what you get, or you make it into something that it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big deal. It's a sermon
Mm-hmm.
in and of itself.
It is, man. A lot of people. I mean, I think they come for that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot. I've talked to a lot of people, man. I invited a guy to my church one time, and this is what he said. Yeah, I said, hey, you should come try to our church, and he said, oh, you talking about that one over there? Blah blah. I said, yeah. And he said, I'll be honest with you, man. He said, I went over there, and I come in, and our service starts. We don't start at 11. We start at 10:45.
Okay.
So a lot of people are used to traditionally starting at 11.
Yeah.
They'll come and we're already going.
Right.
So he comes in at 11. He said, I popped open that back door. The choir was up there singing. I listened. And he said, and he called off some musical term. Like, he's a music buff.
Yeah.
And he said, y'all were singing in alto or whatever. And he said, shut the door, got in the car and left. And I was like, okay. I mean, all
God
right.
bless you, man.
I said, well, I guess it might not be the place for you. I mean, I thought our choir was good.
yeah.
But yeah, he rattled off like that musical term and said
So he left because they were good.
no, I think he just didn't like the way they were doing it.
Okay.
Like the choir was arranged or something. Like he said he popped open the door and they were singing in some. He didn't have a problem with the song. Like
Right.
he's a Baptist church too. Like, but yeah, he just. I don't know. He said he just shut the door and left. He's like, the music wasn't good enough for him.
Sound like he was looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
man.
I'd have to ask him, I guess, in person. But
Yeah.
it's,
I actually met him on a call at work. Here's how I got there to that guy. So his church got broken into. And I was there like investigating the burglary. Like I got in there and stole a guitar and stuff. And he was telling me that he was kind of venting to me about, some stuff going on in their church and he was singing in their choir, and he was telling me, yeah, we're having like a redback hymnal night coming up. We're gonna sing. And I was like, dude, I love the hymnals, And then I said, you ought to come check out our church sometime. Because at this point, he was kind of telling me he's shopping around basically.
right.
And that's when he said, yeah, I came over there and I popped open that door and they were singing and whatever. I don't know if he said alto or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He said, I shut it and left. I was like, okay.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a reason to not go to church, but I hope he finds what he's looking for.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't seen him since.
Who knows, man? Who knows? People do people stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. But
People break into churches.
yeah. Golly, who breaks into a church?
I don't know. I don't know if our detectives figured that one out. I hope they did.
I hope so. Break into somebody else's. We don't. For the record, we have nothing worth stealing here. Everybody's thinking about breaking into our church.
Well, if they come and steal your air conditioning system, like your landlord will take care of that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's what usually they go for, like the copper and the air conditioning.
Yeah.
And they had some guitars left out, and he took some of the guitars.
man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We're a cappella at this point, not because we
Yeah.
necessarily want to be. We just don't have anybody can play an instrument. So no instruments here. Nothing worth
Yeah.
stealing.
Yeah.
Go rob somebody else's. Don't rob anybody else's church.
Yeah. If you're gonna break into someone's house or steal from someone, break into a drug dealer's house, steal from him. Don't break into a church.
Is that okay? Is it like a cop code? It's okay to rob
No,
a drug
I mean I'm
dealer?
just saying, like, just be thoughtful, man. Don't break
Okay,
into a
all
church, man. Do some research on these people before you go break in their doors. It's just not
That's
gonna
a-
sting as
It's
much.
a different podcast right there, a different episode. I think we'll get into. Is it okay to rob a drug dealer?
Depends on who you ask.
I don't know. People have asked me before. They're like, "Would you take a drug dealer's money at your church?" I'm like, "Well, we're not using it for the same thing he's using it for." Like, yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Can you tell him no?
I mean,
You
I
can't
guess,
accept his tithe just because you know he does drugs?
Can, but why would you? Like I said, it's not. You know.
Yeah.
We're
Do you
not-
preach on tithing a lot?
What we do is start in chapter 1, verse 1. So it comes up.
Yeah, it has to.
I don't do a ton of topical preaching. I usually just, it's just
Yeah.
expository. We just go straight through.
Yeah.
But we're in Matthew right now.
Yeah, we
and
talked about when
Jesus is about to call Matthew, where we're at in chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
So
He was a
then
tax collector.
They're going to talk about money. And,
oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's a thing. I don't like to do it because the church has the reputation of
They want your money.
begging for money,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
But it's nice to have lights and an air
Yes.
condition
Yeah.
and chairs and, stuff.
Man.
We don't have a ton, but it's nice to have what we do, and that stuff costs money.
It does. I'll say this. I'm not a pastor. I'm not associated with Danny's church, but my experience with tithing, just being full transparency here, I didn't start tithing like I should until probably 2017.
Yeah.
Like before then, sporadic if I had it,
Right.
But like now, I mean, the way I do it is the week that I get paid every other week.
Mm-hmm.
I tithe that week.
Right.
So it's like I don't forget it.
Yeah.
I tithe online, and I do it while I'm sitting in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid that week, and I'm there that week because I'm off.
Yeah.
And I tithe while I'm sitting there when they ask for tithe, so I don't
Right.
forget. But for the longest, I had I don't know, man. Like, the Bible says it's more of a blessing to give than to receive.
Right.
And it says God loves a cheerful giver. And I found myself like, man, if I could have went and bought this with that,
Oh,
and
man,
I
yeah.
knew I shouldn't even be there, and I began to pray and ask, like, give me the cheerful spirit that I need when I give.
Yeah.
And He did. Like, I have no. I give the money. I want to give it. I feel guilty if I don't.
Right.
And I just, I feel cheerful when I give it. I
Yeah.
mean, I want to give it. I want to give more. Like I have no problem with it, and it's, I couldn't not tithe at this point. Man.
Yeah.
It just,
yeah. Well, it's like going to church itself. It's just something you can't not do anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I got to, and which I think that spirit is like exists pretty well within our church. I mean, we hand out the flings in our business meetings.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're in the green every time. I
There
mean,
you go.
people are tithing, and
Well, we're supposed to be responsible
Yeah.
individually and as a church with our money. So that
Yeah.
it's good that everybody's on the same page with that.
man, tithe if you go to your church. I mean,
Man.
please.
It's people get on that thing where the church just wants your money and whatever. Well, like you go to church and that's cool, but like you go in that bathroom over there and there's no toilet paper.
Yeah, no paper towels.
You know what I mean? Like that's,
Great value soap.
we should have paid for that.
Well, here's something that was, I guess God, allowed me to see was, when I give my amount of money, I see that as it's an act of faith. I'm giving it to God, and God's going to do something magical with it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's say it's $100.
Right.
I give that $100, man, something great can come from that. I mean,
Yeah,
it can
yeah.
do God knows what. I
Right.
mean, it can go to another country because we do foreign missions.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go here.
Well, you do your visitation, so it could go to somebody down the street.
I mean, yeah,
you know,
it could
and-
help a person with cancer, whatever. I mean, it's like I need to like escape my own mind and thinking, man, I could have bought a PlayStation game with that. Like, no,
Right.
we're not. No. This is for something far greater.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I started seeing it that way, it helped me so much.
Yeah. Well, and the way you do it too, you give out of what's called your first fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
wait and see if I got anything left. I'll give it to church. You
no,
know, and
yeah.
it's- you give out of your first fruits,
Yep.
and that was the issue with Cain's offering. Everybody, you look at that and you read through it at first, and you go, "Well, what was the big deal that Cain's offering wasn't as good as Abel's?" Well, like wasn't his first fruits.
Yeah.
It was what he had left,
Mhm.
and that's a big deal. So
Yeah.
it doesn't take faith to give what you got
Yeah.
left.
When I was growing up, my daddy told me, he was like, "And that means you're supposed to tithe on your tax returns too."
Oh, that's
That would
tough,
be
right?
from your first fruits. which I do. I mean,
it's my vacation though. I gotta. We need that car or whatever.
Yeah.
No, but he's right though. You tithe out of what's up front, but I've never been more blessed money wise, and not that God made money fall out of the sky, but when you take care of your money and you tithe and you're responsible, even beyond tithing, not wasting money or spending money you don't have or whatever. But
yeah, I agree, man. I'm not bragging or anything, but I've never had to borrow money. Yeah. It's never put me in debt.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I feel much more comfortable and confident with my finances that I'm gonna be taken care of, you know.
Yeah.
And about that time when I started tithing, man, like I started making more money at work, and you know, I wasn't promoted then, but I've been promoted since then.
Yeah.
I've got, you know, plenty of money coming in. And
God takes care of us when we're faithful.
I mean, I don't know. You can't make people do it.
No, you
can't force them to.
Well, that's
you know?
I got to stand up there and go, well, this is. Yeah. I gave a report last week about how much we had and what the budget looked like based on the giving over the last quarter and all that, you know. And so it's in the back of my head. I wish it wasn't. I wish that somebody in my church would step up and be like, hey, I want to be the treasurer and just like take all this, because I don't want to know who's giving how much. I don't want to know, you know, where we're at. I want to know that we're covered and the lights are going to be on next month. But, you know, I'd rather just not deal with that at all and just be the preacher.
Yeah, but you're a man of many hats when you become a pastor.
You have to be, as it turns out.
You are a therapist. You're a yard worker if someone in the church needs it.
Right.
I mean, which that's another thing. I had a conversation with a guy recently. He was telling me that his church, he was like, man, we really want to model our church off of the example set from the early church. Mm-hmm. And it was talking about in Scripture where it says like the elders of the church were responsible for the widows and all that. And
widows
he was like,
and orphans,
yeah. So what he said, he was like, our deacons are assigned like you're responsible for this widow, this one, orphan,
that's
whatever.
Awesome.
He's like, cut the grass if they need it.
Yeah.
You know, their car needs oil changed, they go do it. And he was like, and they love it. He's like, and it's a great way. And I was like, man, that's such a great idea.
Be.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really like that idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's how it's supposed to be. You look at the church in the book of Acts, and you know, they had all things in common, and you know, they took care of each other. Yeah. It wasn't a question of I make more than he does, so I'm not sharing mine with him. And
well, that kind of goes back to our earlier point, like that other person was saying. You know, wish the church could be more like our gym, and I don't doubt that our gym would be opposed to helping other people like that.
Oh man, yeah.
But our church should be that way. You know, like that type of stuff. Yeah. You know, we're commanded to.
Yeah. It's not a request, right?
It's a command.
Yeah. What we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. Well, all right, man. I think we're going to jump off about here. But thanks for coming in on short notice.
Thanks for having me, man.
Carrying the episode. You did great, man. You did great.